And welcome, sports fans, to today's Sports Roundtable. Glad you joined us right here on Channel 21 and YHCTV.com. And we got plenty to talk about today. High school football is pretty much past the midway point for Missouri, and Arkansas has pretty much reached the halfway point of their season down in Arkansas. So we'll be talking about plenty of games that took place last night throughout the area, including the Kennett and Dexter game that we broadcast live last night here on YHC. And also we're going to have Michael Harrell, head coach of the Pickett Mohawks, along with us momentarily to talk about their win last night, conference win on the road there in Northeast Arkansas. So we're going to talk to Michael Harrell, as well as take a look at some state rankings in high school football, give you some updates on some other sports action from the area in the past weekend. Looking ahead to next week, what's taking place next week in the sports scene here in our area. And we'll also take a look at some college football and NFL taking place this weekend. And it's the last weekend of the season in Major League Baseball. The Cardinals are right there in the hunt for the postseason. It's going to be coming down to the very last game this weekend. So we'll see how that plays out going forward, and we'll touch on that a little later in the program. But glad you joined us right here on YHC for this week's Sports Roundtable. And we've taken a few weeks off here in the last month. We've had some paid jobs over the weekend that we really needed to attend to, so we had a few weeks off, but we're going to try to be here every week that we can, every Saturday we can, right here on YHC each Saturday morning live at 10 a.m. And let's go ahead and take a look at some games that took place last night in the area. First, starting off with the game we had last night that we broadcast, Kennett over Dexter. And a victory 36-22, the Kennett Indians over the Dexter Bearcats. And this is a big rivalry game between these two schools, as we got some highlights to take a look at from last night here. Early on, Dexter coming out with a nice stop here behind the line of scrimmage for a loss. And here we got Patrick Maddox rolling out, looking downfield, broken up by defensive back Nate Gargis. Good defensive stand for the Dexter Bearcats early on, forcing the turnover on downs. Here a handoff to Peyton Tennant, runs up the left side, getting out to midfield, and then later a nice lob pass to Gabe Jackson down the right side, takes it in for the first score of the game as Dexter got off to a nice start. Now here on the next series, a quick strike by the Kennett Indians. Maddox takes it inside the 5, and then it's pitched out, and we're going to have a run around here as Kennett gets into the end zone for their first score of the game, and they knotted up at 8 after the 2-point conversion. Now we have a fumble by the Bearcats deep in their own territory on their next possession. That set up a short field for the Indians as Maddox takes it into the end zone for the touchdown, getting the Kennett Indians the lead there late in the first quarter. Now a nice conversion on third down that the Bearcats needed to extend that drive. But later on the next possession, Kennett getting the ball back. A nice defensive stand by the Bearcats. They get the ball back. Now looking for the end zone. Ben Sindel throws it's intercepted. And it's intercepted right at the goal line. And it's going to be returned all the way for a touchdown as the Indians convert a turnover all the way into a score, as the Indians are in control at this point, 22-8. But here we see a nice defensive series by the Indians. Nice tackle for a loss, and then Sendel's going to roll out, trying to look for somebody downfield, and he's getting brought back behind the line for a big loss. So Indians with all the momentum here midway through this game, and now a kick return, or a punt return, being returned for a touchdown. So big plays being a big part of the Kennett scoring through midway point of this game. Now we see Maddox taking off for a big run down the left side, and you think at this point Kennett was going to pretty much put it away midway through the fourth quarter, but Dexter comes up with some big defense here as they push Kennett back, get a turnover on downs. They get the ball back. Peyton Tennant runs it in for the touchdown, drawing it closer, 28-16. Now a pick interception by Bo McMullen, linebacker, and he's going to take it all the way in for the touchdown, a pick 6 for the Bearcats. and drawing it closer to 28-22. Momentum on the Bearcats side. They get the ball back with a chance to have another drive, but they fumble it in their own territory, and Kennett's going to cash it in. Cameron West runs it in for the touchdown, and that pretty much ices that game for a 36-22 win for the Kennett Indians. And the Indians, the Indians run away with that one in the end. It was a closer game than that 2-touchdown score that it ended up being, but Kennett getting the victory over Dexter, snapping a 19-year skid against the Bearcats last night with that victory. 19 straight losses that they took from the Bearcats, and got the victory last night to snap that streak. And pretty sloppy game towards the end. Kennett, we had quite a few personal fouls there, a couple of ejections. I think basically Dexter really got the momentum going, got a lot of enthusiasm, and then Kennett was, I think, a little frustrated that they have gave up some points there, and they got really out of rhythm and made some mistakes, and they got frustrated. So, and then towards the end, Dexter kind of saw it slipping away after they made a run and had some tempers kind of flare on both sides. So I never want to see that. But still, yeah, it's always a good game between these two teams, especially over the last 2 or 3 years. They've taken themselves right down to the wire, and that was pretty much the case last night. It's just turnovers end up being the difference in that game. Dexter having a few turnovers that Kennett converted into points. That pick six for about 98 yards, that was a big play. And the turnover, the 2 fumbles deep in their own territory, the Dexter committed and Kennett took advantage of, and also the kick return, or the punt return for the touchdown. Big plays from Kennett last night made the difference in that game. So Kennett moves up to number 3 in the Class 3 District 1 standings, and Dexter moves back to number 6. I think they were at number 6, so they hold at number 6. So right now, if the season ended today, first round of the district tournament in Class 3 District 1 would be Dexter on the road taking on Kennett in the first round. So if you're Dexter, you probably want that matchup because I think at number 1 is Park Hill Central undefeated. I think number 2 is St. Genevieve, I believe, and then you got 3 Kennett and then 4 Salem. So that would be a beneficial first-round matchup for the Bearcats. It's a familiar opponent they match up well with. They've already taken a pretty big loss to St. Genevieve already, and I think that would match up well for the Bearcats, especially being a 6th seed. You're going to be on the road for the first game of the playoffs, or first round of the district tournament. That would be a good matchup. Plus, we'd be able to carry it on TV, so that'd be good if it was there at Kennett. So that'd be a good matchup there. But Kennett getting the victory, they extend their record to 4-3 on the year, up into a winning season with that victory last night. Dexter falls to 2-5, and a tough matchup for the Bearcats next week as they take on Park Hill Central, which we will broadcast, talk a little bit later. And Kennett is at home taking on the Mullen Green Wave. We'll have that game on a broadcast delay next week as well for that Duplin County Championship. And take a look at some other games from last night. Taking a look at the Piggott Mohawks getting a victory 27-13 over Rivercrest. Conference rival Rivercrest getting a nice victory there. We'll talk to Michael Harrell in our next segment about that victory for the Piggott Mohawks last night. And Poplar Bluff defeating Sykeston 48-30. No problem for the Mules last night in Sykeston. East Prairie over Portageville, and this game went into overtime, needing overtime to finish this one, and I expected this one probably to be the game of the week because just these two teams match up really well against each other. East Prairie got the win in overtime. Deverance Jones converted a 2-point conversion to get the win for the Eagles. Both teams rushing for over 200 yards last night. Ian Torrey for Portageville rushed for over 150, and the East Prairie Eagles had a nice tandem of Derez Tipler, Deverance Jones, Luke Markham. They had a nice running effort between the three of them for the Eagles. But big game last night, game of the week in that one between East Prairie and Portageville. And New Madrid County Central over Kelly, 54-7. New Madrid County Central gets its first victory of the year over the Kelly Hawks. So New Madrid getting a nice win over Kelly and getting their first win of the year. Kelly just having a tough year and just taking some licks from the area's teams, but hopefully they can get it put together over the next few years. Pretty new program. I think this is their third year in existence, I believe. So it'll take some time, but they should have it put together here in a few years. Also, we have Malden over Charleston, big 54-22. Malden rolls over Charleston. No surprise there, as they've rolled through most of their schedule this year, and rolls over Charleston last night. Hayti over Scott City, 48-28. Big win for the Hayti Indians, answering off of that loss last week to Malden, nicely over Scott City. Jackson over Cape Central, 55-21. Jackson rolls over that rival Cape Central last night. Nice win for the Indians in that one last night in Cape Girardeau. Also, we have Chaffee over Principia, big 50-15. St. Genevieve over Perryville, 25-10. And those are your football results from last night. And not a whole lot of big games as we had over the past couple weeks. I knew that Portageville, East Prairie game was going to be big, but other than that, not too many close games beside maybe the Dexter and Kennett game there. So not as many big games. We'll have some bigger games next week, so we'll be looking forward to that, especially that Kennett-Malden game. We'll be looking forward to that one next week. So we're going to take our first break and be back along with Michael Harrell, head coach of the Pickett Mohawks, talking about their win last night. We'll take a break and be back with Michael Harrell coming up.
Hi, I'm Shane Horner.
Hi, I'm Tim Ellison.
Hi, my name is Richard Clark.
I'm Lori Amos.
I'm Rob Blackwell.
And I'm Ryan Bassetti.
Hi, I'm Alan King.
Hello, I'm Larry Ellison, and we're proud to be part of the Harry Blackwell Ford family here in Malden, Missouri.
Deposit your check here or here or even there. Deposit your check wherever you are with First Midwest Bank's new mobile deposit. Just tap, snap, deposit. It's that simple. New mobile deposit from First Midwest Bank, serving the communities we call home.
The area's fastest internet just got faster. Introducing 100 meg internet, now available from New Wave. With 100 meg, there's nothing you can't do. Browse better, stream more, power every device. This is lightning fast internet designed to fit your family's needs. It's brand new and it's the fastest game in town. Get 100 meg internet from New Wave, your local provider of the speed you need. Call 1-888-8-NEW-WAVE today.
And welcome back, and now we're along with Michael Harrell. He's the head football coach of the Pickett Mohawks. And Michael, it's good to have you this morning after a big win last night.
Hey, Tyler, thanks for having me. It's good to be here. It's good to be in Mohawks right now, buddy.
Yeah, it is. Undefeated, going 5-0. You've got your second conference win last night over Rivercrest. Rivercrest is a great program. It seems like they're always consistently good. You got that victory, a 2-score victory last night on the road against Rivercrest.
Yeah, we come out at the tone off that. They got the ball first, and we stuck them, ran out. Offense got the ball, went down the court, and kind of set the tone right there, just doing what we do, and just shove the ball down their throat. 14-0 at halftime. And we missed an opportunity. We fumbled on the 1-yard line right before half to make it 21-0 at half. Both sides of the line, offense, defensive line, just once again dominated up front. And our running backs ran hard, and our linebackers and defense playing well. I just can't say enough about how proud of you guys I am.
Yeah, now you're getting into your conference schedule, which we all know that conference is just brutal. And you got a win last night over Osceola, Rivercrest, or Osceola last week, Rivercrest last night. So gotten off to a great start, but you got your tougher conference games coming up in the schedule, which you got off to a pretty good start last year in the conferences, I believe. And as the schedule got tougher, it gets tough in that 3A3, as you know. But you've got to be excited about where you're at heading into the last half of your schedule with all this confidence y'all have gotten.
Yeah, we're actually playing the tougher part of the schedule right now. Rivercrest and Osceola will stick to finish first and second in the conference. We got Newport next week, and they're up there. We just got to take it one game at a time and do what we do and not beat ourselves. And I think we can play with anybody around. And we're in a pretty good position right now. We're a lot better football team now than we was last year.
Yep, and it shows you getting some pretty decisive victories. And Michael, we've been down for a couple of your games already, but it seems like you don't really have a big strength. It just seems like you all are just good all around. I don't think you really have a specific weakness. You're just pretty much strong at every facet of the game, it seems like. That's why you're seeing, the defense come up with big stops and these low-scoring affairs you all are having, and also putting up some decent points on the board each week. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, our defense, to play the kind of offensive football we play, you got to have a real good defense. Our defense playing solid. Like last year, we had Logan Dixon, we had some stars last year. This year we don't have no just standout stars. We play as a single unit. The team plays together. There's no one guy that shines brighter than any of the others. If there's no one person you can concentrate to shut it down. We're 9-10 deep at running back and stuff like that. So this year, I guess like you said, we don't really have anybody a superstar. We're just the whole team is solid. From the number 1 player to the 31st player, there's not a whole lot of difference between them.
Sure. And, this team, as we've talked in the weeks past, this weight program that y'all have put together and, just seeing the lines up front, I think that's really been, a big part of y'all's success is being able to control the line of scrimmage, get positive yards, and limit those negative yardage plays. And I think that really says a lot about y'all's success, being able to push people around up front on both sides of the ball.
I agree. That's the difference right now. We're just so strong. And we're healthy, Tyler. And that, I think that also attributes to our strength and conditioning program that Coach Hearn's doing. We're healthy going into week 6. We don't have those little nagging injuries, because we stay fit, we stay strong in the weight room, even during the season we work out, and it's showing, it's paying off. The boys' hard work is paying off.
And let's talk about your schedule coming up, Michael. You're heading into week 6 down there, so who you've got up next week?
Okay, we got Newport next week. We're fixing to have our 3rd straight road game at Newport. Osceola is a state championship program. We beat them. Rivercrest state championship program. We beat them back-to-back weeks on the road. And then we've got our 3rd road game at Newport. Newport, just a state power. They went to the playoffs 34 years in a row in Class 4A. I mean, they're a powerhouse football program. Then after that, we got homecoming with Manila at home. Then we go to Walnut Ridge. Walnut Ridge is a really good football team right now. They lost about 2 touchdowns to Newport last night. So Walnut Ridge is good. And then we finish up the season at home with Hoxie and at home with the Corning Bobcat.
Okay, so Newport's fairly new to the conference, or aren't they?
Yeah, they just dropped down from 4A to 3A. They've been a 4A power for the better part of almost 30 years. And, they went to the playoffs for, I think, 24 or 34 straight years. So they're legit. They are legit. And, they're dropping down. They're one of the bigger schools in the state now in our division. So they'll probably have twice as many kids as we got dressed out. But we're looking forward to the challenge. I feel like our defense is up to it. They're not going to be any faster than the speed that we just saw the last 2 weeks with Osceola and Rivercrest. But we just got to play. We got to do what we do. We got to we're the only we can control ourselves, and that's what we focus on.
Sure. And, that'll be a good test for you with a big school like that coming into the conference. And I believe Walnut Ridge, have they moved up from 2A?
Yeah, they moved up from 2A.
Yeah, and they're actually a really strong they were a strong 2A program, right?
They're 4-1 right now, 1-1 in conference. And, man, they're good. I've been studying Newport, started last night and watched the Newport Walnut Ridge game. And Walnut Ridge, man, they got him a real good running back. Yeah, I think he's pushing 800 yards in 5 games right now. The kid can go. Got a good quarterback. They run a spread offense. We'll worry about Walnut Ridge later on down the road, but we got our hands full with Newport. They got some fast running backs.
Sure. Yeah, anytime a school drops down from 4A to 3A and we're very good at the 4A level, you got your hands full, but it'll be looking forward to seeing what y'all do. You got a lot of momentum in your season, and the confidence is there, and it's a road game, another road game, but we'll be looking forward to seeing how that plays out and getting ready for your homecoming game, Manila, the following week, which we'll be down for, and looking forward to that. So, can't ask for a better season so far, Michael, and congratulations on your season so far. I know you got half of them down, and looking forward to the latter half here towards, competing up the ranks in that conference. As we all know, that 3A3 is brutal, and wish you the best of luck going forward.
Thank you. I think last night's win was a real big confidence boost. It's the first time we ever beat Rivercrest ever. Anybody in Clay County, Piggott, Corning, Rector, nobody's ever beat.
I think I remember you telling me that last year, that no one in Clay County's ever beat Rivercrest, which is, there's got to be a random one out there that Clay County won. But
that win gave our boys the shot of confidence that we may be hard to handle the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, you get a win like that against a team like that and a program like that, and you actually kind of start to believe how well you're playing. You kind of maybe have doubts along the way about, okay, how good are we playing? And then you come up with that win, and it kind of solidifies that, doesn't it?
That's right. That's right. It just, these guys have been confident. They work hard. Last night's win really is a game changer for our football program. It's just, it is the biggest win in our football program history. And next week's going to be, as we go on with the goals that we have set from here on out, each week's going to get bigger and bigger. So we're excited. I'm excited for the kids. I'm excited for our town. Piggett's excited right now, and football's live as well, Piggott.
Sure. Yeah, it's a great time to be a Mohawk, as you said. And what's your conference standing right now? You're up there at the top.
Yeah, us, we're 5-0, 2-0 in conference. Newport's 4-1, 2-0 in conference. Next week, whoever wins next week in Piggott and Newport will be in the driver's seat for conference championship.
Okay. All right. So I know Hoxie's been right there in the mix the last few years. Are they right there in the mix?
They're down right now. Hoxie's 0-5 and 0-2 in conference.
Wow. They are down. Yeah.
Piggett's 5-0, 2-0. Newport's 4-1, 2-0. Walnut Ridge is 4-1, 1-1. Manila's 1-1 in conference. Osceola's 1-1 in conference. And then Walnut Ridge is 1-1 in conference. And Hoxie and Corning are 0-2.
Okay. So, yeah, Piggott Mohawks right up there. Going to be competing for first place next week. So that'll be exciting to see how that plays out in Newport next week. So, again, congratulations, Michael. The community's got to be, thrilled about what the season's done so far this year, and looking forward to an even better second half. So we'll be looking forward to see how it plays out.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Tyler.
Okay, see you.
All right, bye-bye.
And that's Michael Harrell, head coach of the Piggott Mohawks. A great start. It looks like Piggott, I don't want to jinx anything, but it looks like they're on their way to playoff football this year. They're right up there at the top 2 in the conference so far, and with Hoxie, which they've been really good over the last few years, with them having a struggling year, and they've already beat 2 of the teams that were probably going to be up towards the top of that conference this year. Looks like the Mohawks are looking forward to some playoff football, which I think they got to be in the top 4 of their conference to get into the playoffs. So that's a big deal for the Mohawks. Got a big game next week against Newport, but looking good so far. at the halfway point of this season. And taking a look at some other headlines throughout the area. Malden rolls to 7-0, undefeated on the season. Looking forward to a third straight undefeated regular season. The Malden Green Wave, as they rolled over Charleston last night. Looking ahead to Kennett next week. Duncombe County Championship down in Kennett. And I think this might be the last matchup that they could potentially take a loss. I know the Hayti game was one of those. Probably after a few weeks, I expected Hayti and Kennett to be their biggest games, to where they would be threatened with a loss. But they got by Hayti down to the wire. Now they got the Kennett Indians. So should be a good one Friday night. I know Malden's going to be a favorite, probably a 2-touchdown favorite, probably, I would expect. Going into that game, but Kennett's got some weapons they can unleash at any point. They got the big play potential, which they're going to need some big plays against this Malden defense. And Malden's got a strong offense, where they're going to move the ball up and convert their offense. So should be some good matchups there for this game. Malden's more got of a ground game now, not much of a passing attack. Patrick Maddox for the Indians. He can roll out, do a lot with his feet. He can even throw from the pocket. So we'll see how I think it's going to be more about Kennett's defense. If they can halt Malden's offense, get good field position, get some shorter fields for Kennett's offense, that's really going to be key for Kennett to get some short fields in the game to be able to score. If Malden's able to just kind of move the ball up the field, it's going to be a tough night for Kennett, because I think it's going to be tougher for Kennett to sustain some longer drives in their offense. But it should be a good matchup between Malden and Kennett. Next week in Kennett, we'll be down there to broadcast that. It'll be a delayed broadcast next week, as we'll be with Dexter and Park Hill Central here in Dexter for the live broadcast. So Duncombe County Championship next week, Malden and Kennett. And take a look at some other matchups here, some other storylines. Cooter defeating Holcomb in fall baseball for that Tri-County Conference title. This, I think it was Thursday. Cooter beating Holcomb for the Tri-County Conference Fall Championship in that tournament from Thursday. So starting to see fall baseball start to wrap up, as pretty much when it hits October, they pretty much wrap up. A lot of these schools will be getting ready for basketball at the 1st of November. So we'll see how it plays out going forward. We've got maybe just a week or two left in high school baseball. And we're going to take a break and be back with some state rankings for high school football. Seeing some fluctuation in those over the last week, and we're going to take a break and be back with those coming up.
What is your emergency? Need assistance at County Road 61 and Highway 9. Help is on its way.
Clear! There's a better way to jumpstart your soil back to health. Apply Endzone to protect and increase nitrogen efficiency without killing bacteria. Apply Prevent to increase phosphorus availability and reduce fixation. Better yet, use them both to get more from your fertilizer investment and see higher potential yields. Ag Explorer, your prescription for healthy soil.
The competitive edge. It's the edge that sets you apart from your competition. Every business needs it. Now every business can get it. Partner with Advanced Business Solutions and give your business the competitive edge. Advanced Business Solutions, delivered by New Wave, offers scalable fiber optic-based internet solutions to fit your needs. Now you can download without the wait on a network designed for you. Call Advanced Business Solutions and get the competitive edge for as low as $39.99 per month.
And now take a look at some state rankings for high school football, starting out with Class 1. Valley Catholic undefeated at 6-0 going into last night, on top at number 1. 2, Marceline. 3, Hamilton Penny. 4, Lincoln. 5, Hayti, which they stay put at number 5 from last week, which is fair, losing to a state-ranked Malden team. In Class 2, they hang tough at number 5. 6, Maysville. 7, Cass Midway. 8, Wellington Napoleon. 9, East Buchanan. And 10, Thayer. Take a look at Class 2. Lamar undefeated at 5-0 going into last night. They're at number 1. 2, Mountain View Liberty. 3, Trinity. 4, Centralia. Actually, a two-way tie for 4, Centralia and Lutheran North. 6, Mountain Grove. 7, Malden. 8, Fair Grove. 9, Lawson. And 10, Macon. So the Malden Green Wave stay at number 7 for this week. Actually, there's going to be a big game this week. Lamar and Valley Catholic going to be facing off this coming week, and I think it's going to be a neutral site, I believe. I think when they set that up last year, there's going to be a neutral site, but I'm not exactly sure where that game will take place. But a big game. You can't ask for a better matchup, especially at this point of the year, between two number 1 ranked teams in the state among the small schools in the state, Lamar and Valley Catholic, both ranked number 1 in Class 1 and 2. And I'm sure whoever loses won't probably lose their number 1 ranking. I don't think you can hold that against them if either one loses to each other. So I think Lamar is going to be a favorite in that one. Don't know a whole lot about Lamar this year, but I know Valley Catholic. I've heard that for Valley Catholic, it's a weak Valley Catholic team. Of course, that's not saying a whole lot. That means they're undefeated, number 1 ranked team in the state, probably likely a favorite to win the state championship. But Hayti Indians are in the same district as Valley Catholic. That could be a big game. They'll likely end up in that district championship between Hayti and Valley Catholic towards the end of the year. That'll be one to look forward to in that one. So, but for now, Lamar and Valley Catholic next week should be a big game between those top-ranked state-ranked teams here among the small schools in Missouri. And taking a look at Class 3, Maryville on top at number 1, 2, Blair Oaks, 3, Center, 4, Manette, 5, McClure, South Berkeley, 6, Richmond, 7, Park Hill Central, an undefeated 6-0. We'll have Park Hill Central live next week with Dexter. Talk about that in a moment. 8, Mexico, 9, Osage, and 10, John Burroughs. And take a look at Class 4, state champion Kearney at number 1, 2, Hannibal, 3, Platte County, 4, Webb City. Webb City moving their way back up after starting the season 0-2. 4 straight wins going into last night. They're back up to number 4. They started at number 1, went down to, I think, number 10. Back up to number 4 is Webb City. 5, Carl Junction, 6, Parkway North, 7, St. Dominic, 8, Ladue, 9, Hillsboro, and 10, Smithville. And in Class 5, Chaminade at number 1, 2, Battle, 3, Glendale, 4, Fort Zumwalt North, 5, William Chrisman, 6, Park Hill South, 7, Liberty, 8, Staley, 9, Carthage, and 10, the Jackson Indians at number 10. They cracked into that poll last week, and they remain there at number 10. And those are your state rankings for this week. And take a look at the football broadcast schedule. Next week, we've got Park Hill Central and Dexter. That'll be Park Hill Central at Dexter at Charles Bland Stadium. We'll carry that live right here on Channel 21 and YHCTV.com, so look forward to that next week. And then Manila at Piggott. Piggott's homecoming will be there, and that'll be a broadcast delay next week. That will replace Sunday night and Tuesday nights. So you can look forward to that between Manila and Piggott next weekend. So season start to draw to a close here. It's just unbelievable how fast the year's gone by. But coming down to the last few games of the season in Missouri, only 2 weeks remaining in regular season play in Missouri. Everyone will have a first round district game, so at least 3 games remaining for all the Missouri teams. And Piggott's just now, or Arkansas is just now at their halfway point. So getting into the last half of the season here, it's just unbelievable how quick it's going. But it's been fun so far, and hopefully you'll join us for our broadcast for the rest of the way. And we're going to take another break and be back and talk about some college football, NFL football, and even some Cardinals as they enter the last couple games of the season. We'll be back with that coming up.
Welcome to NFL Total Access.
The show that takes you inside the locker room and down on the field. With inside access to all 32 teams all year long. NFL Total Access, Monday through Saturday, only on NFL Network.
NFL Network, where football season never ends.
NFL Red Zone, the channel that brings you every touchdown from every game on Sunday afternoons. Watch the most exciting moments like never before, live in HD. Every touchdown from every game, live on one channel, NFL Red Zone.
And welcome back. Now we're going to take a look at some college and NFL football, starting with the college ranks. Some games to look forward to this weekend. 22nd ranked Texas at Oklahoma State in the Big 12. Rutgers at 2nd ranked Ohio State. 14th ranked Miami at Georgia Tech in the ACC. North Carolina at 12th ranked Florida State. 8th ranked Wisconsin at 4th ranked Michigan. Big Ten matchup there for this weekend. Also 11th ranked Tennessee at 25th ranked Georgia in the SEC. 9th ranked Texas A&M at South Carolina in the SEC. Memphis at 16th ranked Ole Miss. Kentucky at top ranked Alabama. 3rd ranked Louisville at 5th ranked Clemson. And our local teams here, Eastern Illinois at SEMO in the Ohio Valley Conference. With our local team, and Arkansas State's got a Wednesday matchup, I believe. They're off for the weekend, and they've got a Wednesday game coming up. I believe that one will be in Jonesboro, I believe, as a home game for the Red Wolves. Take a look at some NFL football taking place this weekend. The Colts at the Jaguars in the AFC South. Seahawks at the Jets. Bills at the Patriots in the AFC East. And this will be the last game. The Patriots will be without Tom Brady due to that suspension, due to the Deflategate, I guess, scandal a couple of years ago. And, quite a bit of, attention on the Patriots as they've got 2 hurt quarterbacks. Their second, third string quarterbacks are hurt. Jimmy Garoppolo has a sprained AC joint in his shoulder, his throwing shoulder, and Jacoby Brissett, who actually filled in as a third stringer last week as they romped the Texans, he had a hurt thumb, a torn ligament or something with a thumb injury. So it's kind of up in the air what the quarterback position is going to look like Sunday for the Patriots in that AFC East matchup. The Panthers at the Falcons in the NFC South. Big game right here. The Panthers are at 1-2 on the year. The Falcons, I believe they are 2-1 on the year. So if the Panthers lose this game, they're going to be fighting uphill in the NFC, even in their own division, with the Falcons playing pretty well. So big game for the Falcons as well. They can get a good lead in that division. Already a win over the Saints last week and get a win over the Panthers. They'll be looking good in that division. And the defending NFC champion Panthers going to be fighting uphill for the rest of the season if they take a loss in that one over the weekend to the Falcons. The Raiders at the Ravens in the AFC. The Broncos at the Buccaneers. The Rams at the Cardinals in the NFC West, and a big game here too. The Rams looking not too bad. They've gotten a couple wins, and the Cardinals they're at 1-2 on the year, needing a win. The Rams have really played well against the Cardinals over the last few years, and they'll need to come up with a win, or they're going to be looking uphill there in the NFC West. So we'll see how that plays out over the weekend. The Saints at the Chargers. Drew Brees goes back to his former team, and they're in San Diego to take on the Chargers. Cowboys at the 49ers in the NFC. And Sunday Night Football, the Chiefs at the Steelers in the AFC. Monday Night Football, Giants at the Vikings in the NFC. That'll be a good matchup there. The Vikings, one of the I wouldn't say surprise teams in the NFL this year. They were expected to be pretty good, probably fighting for that NFC North crown once again with the Packers. And they've already beaten the Packers. They're undefeated, beat the Packers and the Panthers. And they pretty much took it to the Panthers. And they they hit them in the mouth, I guess you would say. They smacked them in the mouth on their home field over there in Charlotte. And they're looking really good. Sam Bradford's making some plays offensively, and that defense is really tough. They get after you, real physical defense. So these Vikings are for real, and the Giants are pretty good. They took a heartbreaking loss last week to the Redskins. Kind of gave that one up in the end, but the Giants are a pretty good team as well. They're pretty healthy. Got their receivers healthy. Got a pretty good defense, so they're right there in the mix as well. Should be a good NFC matchup there for Monday night. And now take a look at the Cardinals. The Cardinals are right there in the mix. A big game last night as the Cardinals beat the Pirates. And let's see, that was a score of, I think they shut them out. I think I saw that last night. 7-0. The Cardinals beat the Pirates. And a pretty big moment. Matt Holliday went in and hit a home run. Hit a home run last night, and that was, news that broke yesterday that the Cardinals will not exercise the team option for his contract next year, so he will become a free agent after this year. I think he was due $17 million next year with that team option, so the team will not elect to exercise that team option, so he'll become a free agent. Matt Holliday's been a big figure for the Cardinals over the last handful of years. I think he's probably been there 7-8 years by now. No, not exactly sure, but he's been a big part of the Cardinals over the number of years. He pretty much came on when Pujols moved on, I believe, or it might have been even before that. But he kind of took over that. He kind of took over the slugger role for the Cardinals when Pujols moved on. So Matt Holliday not being a Cardinal is going to be a little strange, but that is the case. But came in last night, got a home run opposite field, big moment for him and the St. Louis Cardinals fans. And it was a really nice moment there when Matt Holliday hit that home run. And take a look at the standings. It's all about the wild card in the National League as it's really contentious. The New York Mets got a one-game advantage over the San Francisco Giants for that first wild card spot. And the Giants won again. They're 85-75, and they got the second wild card spot. And the Cardinals are one game back of the Giants with 2 games remaining. 2 games remaining on the season. Hopefully they can win both, and then at least maybe the Giants can slip up against the Dodgers at least one game. If the Cardinals can win Saturday and Sunday, hopefully the Giants will lose at least one of those games, and it'll be a 2-way tie for that second wild card spot. And they'll actually play off that second wild card game, or for that second wild card spot. And the Cardinals have the head-to-head tiebreaker against the Giants, so they would actually host a one-game playoff for that second wild card spot against the Giants. They would host that game at home if they end up tied for that second wild card spot. So it's kind of a wild card of a wild card if there's a tie for one of those spots. So if that were the best, that's the best case scenario right now. It looks like, unless they can win 2 and then the Giants lose 2, but it's probably not going to happen because they're playing the Dodgers. And the Dodgers have already clinched the division there in the NL West. So it's not likely that they're going to sweep the next 2 games or lose the last 2 games against those Dodgers. So if the Cardinals can at least get that tie, they can host that one-game playoff for that second wild card spot. They can beat the Giants. They would go on the road to take on the Mets for that one-game wild card, and then the winner advancing on to take on the Cubs in the divisional series. So it's an uphill look here for the Cardinals, but there's still a chance. Like Lloyd Christmas saying, still got a chance. That is the case for the Cardinals. Got 2 more games. Hopefully they can win those and get that tie with the Giants in that second wild card spot. So a little bit of hope, but still there, coming down to the end, as we probably expected all year for these Cardinals. And that's pretty much what's on deck in the professional ranks. And that'll pretty much wrap it up for our show today. And we appreciate you for tuning in as always. Look forward to seeing you right back here with us next week for another roundtable. And until then, I'm Tyler Wagner. Have yourself a great week. Take care, everyone.